Please be advised that the views and opinions of the host and guests do not reflect those of the station, the management, and its network.
Magandang umaga po sa ating mga televiewers. Ito po si Undersecretary Abdulgani Macatoman mula sa Department of Trade and Industry na makakasama ninyo sa pagtuklas ng iba't ibang paraan upang umasenso ang ating mga negosyo. Dito lang yan sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Ngayong araw ay pag-usapan natin kung paano ma-develop ang ating business or mga negosyo. Currently, we are facing now one of the toughest times in history, the COVID-19 pandemic, that hardly hit almost every one of us. In these trying times, our main concern is how to recover as quickly as possible, just like our businessmen or our MSME concern as well. History has shown that businesses who invest in planning, strategy, and marketing during the tough times recover quicker and stronger. Are you doing everything that you can in your business to be resilient in these trying times? Now, allow my guests to help you. Sila po ang magpo-provide ng mga informasyon kung ano pa ang maaring gawin ng mga entrepreneurs ngayong lockdown. Magbibigay din ng makabagong strategies, marketing, plans, guidance, at best practices to implement. Please welcome my AKKK co-host, Ms. Charina Suzara, here to introduce our guest.
Good day, Yusek Gani. The spirit of entrepreneurship has always been identified with Filipino resiliency. And in this time of pandemic crisis, mahirap ang magtayo o di kaya ipagpatuloy ang mga negosyo, maliit man o malaki. Here to tell and inspire us with their stories are three successful entrepreneurs who had the distinct privilege and experience training in DTI's PTTC program, namely Ms. Jonathan of Yearlock Food and Industrial Corporation and Ms. Mary Jo Reyes Ferraren of Style Isle, who will be joining us here in our studio. And one more entrepreneur who will be joining us via Zoom, Ms. Marmy Vela of Z Brothers Food Products. And here to provide their expertise are two pillars in entrepreneurial training. First one, who has been committed to assist, educate, and collaborate with small to medium enterprise through DTI's training arm PTTC. Please welcome in the studio DTI DED Director Nelly Dillera. And really no introduction needed, who will be joining us via Zoom, a leading light for many years in the field of business in the country, Mr. Joey Concepcion of Go Negosyo.
Thank you, Cha. For our first segment, atin pong i-welcome sa studio ang aming napakasipag na Director OIC ng ating Philippine Trade Training Center, si Nelly Dillera. Welcome, Director Nelly.
Yes, good morning, Yusek Gani, and good morning din po, Ms. Cha, and thank you also for the opportunity of allowing us to share the programs po ng Philippine Trade Training Center. Thank you po.
Alam nyo, Director Nelly, ngayon sikat na sikat yung ating Philippine Trade Training Center na tumutulong talaga sa ating mga MSME, lalo na sa mga training nila. No? So, ngayon siguro baka pwede natin ipaalam sa ating mga tagapanood ano ba ang ginagawa ng Philippine Trade Training Center.
Okay, thank you very much po, Yusek. Ang Philippine Trade Training Center, ito po ang training arm ng Department of Trade and Industry. Titingnan lang natin, iba-iba kasing konteksto pag sinabi nating training. Para lang ma-differentiate natin, unahin ko lang PTTC versus TESDA. Ang PTTC, Business Management, Business Development, or Enterprise Development. Ang TESDA, Technical. Okay? So kung meron kayong skill na gusto nyong gawin siyang negosyo, pwedeng pagkakitaan, pumunta kayo ng PTTC. Yun yung mga programa natin. And basically, Yusek, ang coverage natin dito yung business functions. Kaya sa simula pa lang kailangan nilang magkaroon sila ng business plan, ano? So nandoon yung marketing plan, nandoon yung organization and HR, nandoon rin yung production, at nandoon rin yung marketing plan. So finance. So kailangan matutunan nila yon kasi siyempre pag nagtrabaho ka nag-open ka ng isang negosyo, kahit papaano alam mo lahat ng mga programang yon or mga aspects ng negosyo na yon para naman kahit paano mag-succeed ang isang entrepreneur sa kanyang negosyong pinapasukan.
Yes. Miss Nelly, tanong ko lang din po, syempre po, madami na po ang nagbe-business ngayon. Pero gaano po ba kahalaga para sa isang MSME ang mag-training?
Okay, ang sinasabi talaga natin, 'di ba? Ang pinaka-importanteng asset ng isang kahit negosyo ba yan siya or ng isang opisina, tao.
Yes,
Kung yung
correct.
tao may skill, yung tao may kakayanan para mag-produce ng mga produkto o serbisyong inaasahan sa isang kumpanya, maganda yung kalalabasan ng isang negosyo. Pero basically, kailangan talaga doon training, di ba? Although may sinasabi tayong mayroong basic training, may higher education training, pero itong mga specialized, kumbaga para sa mga adult education or yung mga nagtatrabaho na sa mga companies, di ba? Ito yung mga tinuturo natin. Kumbaga practical lessons na pang-on-site yung mga ginagawa na talaga sa companies.
I see.
Napakaganda yan dahil marami silang natutulungan na nagiging successful na mga negosyante, mga MSME. Gustong malaman siguro ng ating mga tagapanood, ano ba yung mga adjustment ng PTTC para makatugon doon sa mga pangangailangan ng ating mga MSME, lalo na ngayong pandemya. Kasi ngayon may new normal na. So ano ba yung mga adjustment na ginagawa ngayon ng Philippine Trade Training Center, Director Nelly?
Okay, unang-una Yusek, kasi physical distancing. Hindi dati talaga libo-libo kumbaga yung pumupunta sa PTTC para mag-attend ng training. Ngayon sa nangyari, hindi na pwedeng pumunta ng PTTC. So isang adjustment ginawa namin, automatic po 'yon with the guidance of course ng Yusek namin. Pumunta kami ng webinar. So ito, ngayon marami tayong mga accounts, ibig sabihin pwedeng simultaneous nakaka-conduct tayo ng training. Pero ang ginanda nga dito sa adjustment na ginawa natin, Yusek and Miss Cha, naaabot natin yung mga dating hindi na natin naaabot dahil siguro may problema tayo sa schedule pagpunta sa mga lugar, yung oras, yung schedule and all that. Pero ngayon, dahil nga ito, via different virtual platforms na lang, naaabot natin sila. Ang isa pang adjustment natin, Yusek, yung dating ginagawa nating 8 hours na training face-to-face, hindi siya ngayon ideal. Napaupuin mo yung isang gustong mag-training ng isang buong 8 oras sa isang araw, di ba? So, ang ginawa natin, in-adjust rin natin. So, bumuo rin tayo ng mga e-learning modules na pwedeng yung materials nila, i-run lang for 2 hours or pwedeng kahit wala yung PTTC doon, kahit wala yung ating resource person na mag-explain sa kanila, gamit lang yung cellphone nila, iPad nila, laptop nila, maa-access po nila yung mga programa po natin.
Ang galing.
Yes, Director Nelly. So ano po kaya yung mga katulad po ng sinabi niyo po, 'di ba po sabi niyo po na nag-stop po muna kayo for in-house training, is that right? Webinars po muna tayo. In the future po, magkakaroon po ba kayo ng more in-house trainings po other than the webinars?
Okay, ang nangyayari ngayon, webinars, virtual. Pero may mga companies na nagre-request ng PTTC na dalhin doon sa kanilang mga lugar yung mga training. So it now becomes parang an in-house pero based in the company. Siyempre, sinusunod pa rin lahat ng mga requirements ng IATF. And of course, Ms. Cha, eventually, kasi if you go to PTTC, we have several training rooms. Actually, kahit na ngayon, kaya naming mag-accommodate kaya naming sundin yung social distancing.
Okay.
Kasi sa laki ng mga rooms, pwede mag-accommodate pa rin ng a big number. But of course, hopefully, we would want na babalik tayo doon sa magkakaroon pa rin tayo ng face-to-face.
Yes.
Kasi iba pa rin yung magkakaharap, kita mo agad kung anong reaction ng
Yes,
isang
hands-on
entrepreneur,
po
di ba?
tayo nun.
Correct, oo. So yung mga ganon.
Baka pwede natin i-share sa ating mga tagapanood natin ngayon yung mga pathways ng mga MSME para naman doon sa information nila at guidance ng mga MSME natin doon sa mga pathways ng PTTC.
Okay, ang PTTC po kasi ay isang Philippine Trade Training Center. Kumbaga, isa siyang educational or training institution na yung mga entrepreneurs natin would also be looking for ano ba yung saan ba kami pwede mag-enroll, ano yung mga courses, short courses namin na pwedeng i-take. Okay, ang pathway programs natin, susundan po yung business functions, okay, yung may finance, may marketing, human resource and organization, at production. Pero ito siya, nakafocus halimbawa sa mga specific sectors, Yusek. So yung pathway program natin, for example, sa food. Sa food pathway program natin, nandyan yung mga certification, nandyan yung food safety, nandyan of course yung halal. Okay? And pangalawa po, yung sa lifestyle naman, tinitingnan rin natin, ano ba yung mga pwedeng ituro sa kanila like sa financing. Okay, and finally yung sa services, yun yung mga logistics and supply chain, okay, and yung mga digitalization. So marami tayong pathway, digital tools, kasama dyan, trade fair readiness, although wala na tayong trade fairs masyado ngayon, siguro in the future, pero kaya natin pa rin silang turuan kung paano ba mag-negotiate sa buyers, paano magbenta ng kanilang mga produkto and all that. So buo po yun, Yusek.
Nabanggit mo yung halal. Alam mo naman yung halal, napakalapit sa aking puso yan, Director Nelly. Meron ba kayong particular na course, entrepreneurial course dito sa halal? Alam nyo, para sa kaalaman ng ating mga tagapanood, ang halal po ay, this is a 3.2 trillion industry and one of the fastest growing industry now in the world. Mayroon po ba kayong particular na entrepreneurial course dito po sa halal? Kasi nakita ko one time yung programa nyo, yung partnership nyo with Malaysian Chamber of Commerce. So, napakaganda at saka napakaganda po ng feedback not only domestically but internationally dito sa programa na ginagawa ng Philippine Trade Training Center, Director Nelly.
Yes, Yusek, thank you very much. Actually, si Yusek talaga yung nag-push sa amin. Entrepreneurial and business management po yung training ng PTTC. Pero importante po yun, Yusek, yung ginawa nating slaughtering, basic halal slaughtering. Kasi it's a skill. It's a skill that's not available sa, alam nyo, iba-ibang mga training center. Pero tayo, we were able to bring in yung mga nag-ooperate ng mga slaughterhouse na gusto talagang mag-market dito sa sinasabi nyo ang trillion worth na halal industry sa buong mundo. And ang dagdag pa siguro natin, Yusek, dito, yung accreditation ng mga accrediting body. Isa yun sa wino-work at natin with PAB, Philippine Accreditation Body. So we hope that we would be able to enlist yung mga number of halal accreditation bodies, accrediting bodies dito sa Philippines dahil sila naman yung po mag-accredit po ng mga halal enterprises. So yung usual po natin ng mga tracks, entrepreneurial development, kino-cover natin. Particularly, gusto ko lang din i-highlight, Yusek, kasi ginawa nga natin last year. Slaughtering, we also focused on Islamic finance. Ang ganda nun, kasi talagang minsan yung mga ibang mga kasamahan natin, hindi sila aware, meron pala. Modest fashion was also another one. It was really very unique and I think a lot of people were really very much interested on it. Yung food kasi, parang nandyan na yan siya, di ba? So, ina-assist natin. And one more important po, yung halal tourism. Ito yung mga bagong areas na tinitingnan natin, matutulungan po natin yung ating mga halal entrepreneurs po.
Maraming salamat, Director Nelly. Alam mo, kulang na kulang yung oras na dito sa pinag-usapan natin, dito sa mga kahalagaan ng programa ng PTTC. At sana ay maging guest din namin kayo muli sa ating programang Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Magbabalik po kami dito sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. We are back in the studio and learn more about what it took for this lady make it. Lalo na at hindi biro ang pinagdadaanan natin ngayon sa panahon ng pandemya. So without further ado, and via Zoom, Miss Marmy Bella. Very good afternoon sa iyo, Miss Marmy Bella, at maraming salamat sa pagtanggap sa amin dito. Welcome dito po sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. And please tell us something about your product and your company, Miss Marmy.
Good afternoon po. Ako po si Marmy. Ako po yung may-ari at nagmamanage ng aking small business, Zebros Food Products. na meron po kaming mga bottled gourmet na tinapa, tuyo, ginataang tulingan, escabecheng bangus. Meron din po kaming healthy peanut butter na keto-friendly with flax seeds and chia seeds, and it's also available in no sugar and 50% less sugar. Meron din po kaming healthy sun-dried tomatoes with goji berries in olive oil. Tapos, marami pa po kaming ilalabas na products very soon. Ayan po.
Wow, ang galing-galing naman. So, ito po, pinag-uusapan natin yung mga success story ng mga micro, small enterprises natin. Ano po ba yung mga training na nasalihan ng inyong kumpanya, lalo na po kayo? Ano ba yung mga kahalagaan ng mga training na nakakapag-participate po kayo, Miss Marmy?
Napakadami, sir. Nagsimula po ako sa KMME. Pagka-graduate ko po ng kapatid mentor me program, so mas grabe nang dumami na yung mga opportunities for me. At pinalawak din po ng mga trainings, lalong napaka-importante po yung basic food safety na ino-offer po nila. And then, napaka-importante po na nakapag-attend ako sa documentary requirements on FDA and LTO compliance. Kasi po yun po yung naging requirement para magkaroon ako ng FDA LTO certificate. And then later po, nag-level up po kami ulit. Nagkaroon po kami ng trainings and seminars for halal. Kaya ngayon po yung Zebros Food Products po, kahit 1 year pa lang siya na nare-register, ay halal certified na rin. Tapos meron din po kaming, meron din po ako na-attendehang write shop on SSOP and GMP manual, process control and traceability, documentary requirements on FDA and FDA CPR, pati shelf life and mandatory labeling requirements na sobrang importante para mag-level up po ang isang negosyo. Otherwise, wala. Hindi po talaga mag-grow ang negosyo kapag hindi po mag-level up ang knowledge ng isang entrepreneur.
Tama-tama yan dahil ang ating mga tagapanood dito sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya ay gusto nila talaga makakuha ng mga tips, lalong-lalo na sa inyo ng yung mga success story ng mga MSME na tinatanong natin, yung ano yung kahalagaan ng mga training na nadadaluhan ninyo, lalo na po particularly itong mga training na ino-offer ng ating Philippine Trade Training Center. So ano ba yung mga adjustment na ginagawa ngayon ng mga MSME na para survive tayo dito sa pinagdadaanan natin ng pandemya?
Opo. Bigyan ko lang po kayo ng very short lang po na kwento. Ano po? Noong 2019 po kasi nagsimulang magseryoso ang Zebros Food Products sa kanyang negosyo. So lahat ng trainings and seminars na attendehan po namin at sinusunod po namin lahat. Hindi po siya yung magte-training and seminar po kami tapos pagdating sa production area, hindi na po namin ginagawa.
Masunurin kayo, Miss Marmy.
Dapat lang po. Dapat lang po. Kasi pag hindi po, bignan niyo po, in the span of 1 year, nailakad po namin yung FDA LTO certification.
Ibig sabihin, magmula doon sa FDA certification. Ibig sabihin, magmula doon sa FDA certification nyo ay talagang tinulungan kayo doon ng PTTC?
Yes po. Yes po. In coordination with DTI. Yes. Sobrang thankful nga po kami sa kanila. And syempre po pati may mga ibang mga stakeholders like DOST, DA, talagang tulong-tulong po sila. Pero yun nga po, masunurin din po kasi kami. Talagang ginagawa namin lahat ng dapat namin gawin sa part naman ng isang entrepreneur. So hindi pwedeng isa lang ang gumagalaw, dapat partner talaga po kayo. So after po naming ma-acquire lahat ng certifications na yon, supposed to be, kung wala po sana tong COVID-19 pandemic, may 3 po kaming international food fair na pinalad na makapasok po sana kami sa Kuala Lumpur, sa Thailand, at saka supposed to be sa China. Kaso po, dahil po nangyari nga tong pandemic na to, na-cancel po lahat. Lahat po ng plano for Zebro's food products huminto. Pero hindi po din naman kami tumitigil sa learnings na binibigay po ng PTTC. Kasi po, like kahapon lang, meron na naman po kaming webinar on product traceability. So, hindi po talaga tumitigil ang learnings kahit ganito po ang natin, ang sitwasyon natin.
So umaattend pala kayo ng mga international trade fairs. Ngayon ba, Miss Mermy, ay nakakapag-export na yung inyong kumpanya?
Sir, supposed to be yung 2020, yung tatlong international food fairs, yun po sana ang first time ng Zebro's for export market. Kaso po, wala. Cancel po muna.
Kumusta po yung domestic demand ng mga product ninyo?
Well, honestly and unfortunately, medyo humina rin po ang negosyo natin because yung negosyo po ng Zebro's Food Products na bottled gourmet, aminado po tayo na Class A, B, and C po ang market. Dito po kasi sa Tuguegarao where we are stationed, hindi po talaga ganon kalakas ang product na ganon. Talagang pang international market po kasi yung products namin. So, talagang tinitignan po nating mga market, yung mga balikbayan, mga nasa abroad, kasi sila po yung talagang sabik na sabik sa mga pagkain ganon. So, kaya nga po nanghihinayang kami sa opportunity na na-cancel ng dahil sa pandemic. However, we have to still, still have to grow and pivot sa business namin. Hindi kasi pwedeng dahil may pandemic mag-close na kami or hihinto na kami. So we have to do a lot of things and a lot of adjustments kasi po maraming maapektuhan na staff kung titigil kami. Maraming malilay off kung titigil kami. Pati na rin po yung sa business namin. It has to still go on kahit paunti-unti, mahina man, dire-diretso pa rin.
Tama yan. This too will pass at sigurado pong makakabangon tayo. Ngayon naman ay hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas, kung hindi sa buong mundo ay talagang nahihirapan yung ating mga negosyo. But soon, makaka-recover din po tayo. Baka po may mga huling pananalita kayo para sa ating mga tagapanood ng Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya, Miss Mermy.
Una-una po, thank you so much for this opportunity na binigay ninyo for Zebro's Food Products to be able to give inspiration sa mga micro, small entrepreneurs all around the Philippines at kung saan pa man po nakakarating tong usapan natin. Sobrang nagpapasalamat kami na tinatap ang Zebro's para magbigay ng inspirasyon despite po kasi ng pandemic, we really have to still strive, no, para maging successful ang negosyo natin, and we just have to believe na tama si Sir kanina, all of these things will pass. Wala pong permanente. So if we need to do another business, tulad po ng ginagawa ng Zebro's na everything that they can lay their hands onto, binibenta na po namin ngayon. Hindi po kami nagko-concentrate dun sa kung ano man yung negosyo namin because we already saw that it's not lucrative at this point in time. Pero hindi po kami tumigil. Medyo bumagal lang kami pero tuloy-tuloy. Dire-diretso lang. So sana lahat ng nagnenegosyo ngayon, no matter how difficult it is, no, na ipagpatuloy natin kasi syempre yung mga puhunan, nagkukulang, pati yung mga raw materials natin, medyo nahihirapan tayong maghanap. Sa case po ng Z Brothers, na nahirapan po kami sa tawag dito, yung sa mga jars na ginagamit namin kasi po China pa po na pala na o-order yung mga jars na ginagamit namin. And since the start of the pandemic, lahat po ng import-export ng mga packaging tumigil. So we have to look again and reevaluate kung saan po pwedeng pumasok ang Z Brothers. So ano lang, dasal lang tayo, tuloy-tuloy lang. Huwag kayong mapanghihinaan ng loob. Dire-diretso lang. Isipin lang natin na laging may umaasa din sa atin.
Maraming salamat
Yun
sa
lang.
iyo, Miss Marmy Bela. At magbabalik po ang Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Good afternoon po, yeah. Our special guest is well-known as the champion of entrepreneurship in this country. He's a strong ally of the Department of Trade and Industry in implementing various programs for the MSME all over the country. Napaka-swerte po namin, Sik Joey. Si Sik Joey po ang founder ng Negosyo that aims to address poverty in the Philippines by encouraging entrepreneurship. It's a great honor to have you dito po sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya, the Presidential Advisor for Entrepreneurship Secretary Joy Concepcion. Magandang hapon po, sir.
Magandang hapon, Gani.
Ngayon po ay alam niyo lagi rin kitang napapanood, Sik Joey, sa mga meeting natin and kung ano-ano mga event ano. Ngayon lagi tinatanong sa inyo, ano ba ang mas importante, ekonomiya o kalusugan?
Siyempre, parang anak, no, sinasabi ko parate. Let's say yung dalawang anak na they're drowning in the sea. Sinong isi-save mo, no? Siyempre yung dalawa na you have no choice. So katulad yan sa health and the economy, no? You cannot pick. You have to save both and do your best to save both of them. Katulad ng anak mo na drowning, you just have to do it to the best you can, and whatever you are able to do, then that's how it should be, no? Kasi itong jobs, lives at livelihoods, lahat yan importante kasi yung syempre yung lives ng mga tao natin, that's precious. Pero yung trabaho at yung livelihood, kung mawala lahat yan, ma-affect rin yung mga health condition dito kasi paano sila bibili ng mga medicine at pagkain for nutrition and their health. No? Hindi naman ang COVID lang ang problema. May mga ibang disease tayo mula high blood, cancer, diabetes, lahat yan. Kidney problems. So, marami rin yan. So, kailangan yung mga tao natin, they will also be able to make sure that tamang kinakain nila sa nutrition, mga vitamins, mga tamang pagkain para kaya nilang lipunin yung COVID na to. No? So, I believe both health and economy have to be saved, no? And don't choose. Do your best to save both.
Tama-tama yan dahil itong pinagdadaanan natin, Sik Joey, itong pandemya, no? Ano po ba ang sa tingin nyo ng mga major challenges sa ating business environment, lalo na po sa mga MSME natin, Sik Joey?
Kasi, siyempre sa pandemic, itong mga lockdowns na nangyari mula March 15, halos 2.5 months, talagang I guess the government protected really the health, no? Pero yung consequence nun, of course, the economy will suffer, and now the magnitude of the damage to the economy is quite big. Nakikita natin kasi dito, lahat ng mga MSMEs natin, yung viability nila sa negosyo nila, hindi nandyan eh. Kasi yung mga malls ng mga tao sa mga shopping centers, mga restaurants, itong new normal na social distancing, wearing of mask, syempre importante yan. Pero yung isang malaking problema ay the viability of all of these retailers na hindi pwedeng daming tao sa isang restaurant or sa isang retail store kasi kailangan to practice social distancing, no? So this hinder the viability kasi ng mga tindahan. Now, the challenge really here is many of the banks will only lend those who they think will be viable. Yun ang talagang ang gagawin nila kasi hindi pwede naman yung mga bangko magpapautang sa mga negosyo na hindi makakasurvive dito sa pandemic na to. So, ang advice din namin sa mga entrepreneurs, kung hindi nyo kaya at negative ang cash flow nyo, isirado nyo muna ang mga tindahan nyo, no? Katulad nangyayari ngayon sa mga malls. Tumulong rin dito mga mall owners, binaksak nila ang rental sa mga 5%. Kasi kung mawawala lahat ng mga entrepreneurs sa isang mall or isang retail center, mawawala rin ang cash flow ng mga mall owners. So, I think everybody is trying to help, no? And the banking community, they will help provided yung cash flow nila is able to at least meet the interest payments. Karamihan ng mga entrepreneurs natin, mga loans nila, by now, na-restructure na rin niya kasama yung interest, no? Pero, the viability really is dependent on the cash flow of that business or yung negosyo na yan, no? And that's the challenge, no?
Tama-tama yun, Sik Joey. Kasi nabanggit nyo kanina yung word ngayon na paborito natin lahat, yung new normal. Under this new normal, Sik Joey, businesses now are shifting to digital platforms to sell their products. How will this impact the entrepreneurs you are assisting? Like, yung mga programa nyo po sa Go Negosyo.
So, kasama namin dito yung DTI. So, anong nangyari ngayon, yung offline, yung mga basically physical store selling lahat, karamihan ngayon nagsishift ngayon sa online. So, yung sa digitalization naman, itong mga platforms ng Lazada, Shopee, at marami pang iba, nakakatulong dito kasi yung mga entrepreneurs, they can sell their products online, no? Mga Viber communities, nakikita natin sa Facebook also, marami nagbebenta dito ng mga housewives, ng mga bagong entrepreneurs, sinasabi nila na magaling magluto at now they're able to share yung favorite dishes nila at mga iba pang pwedeng food, delicacies, etc. So, ang dami ngayon na bumabangon naman na bagong entrepreneur, naging kalaban ngayon ng mga ibang entrepreneur na offline na may physical store. Kaya yung mga offline na physical store, syempre nahihirapan kasi dumami rin ang mga competition ngayon. Pero I think that's good, no? Digitalization is the way forward. Pati sa mentorship natin, no? With DTI, ang dami natin ngayon mas lalong nare-reach kasi yung dati kumuha tayo ng isang lugar sa hotel, conference room, we feed them food, we fly the mentors. Ang mahal nun. Ngayon, lahat ng mga mentors sa platform ng Zoom ang ginagawa namin, no? So tuloy-tuloy pa rin ng mga modules, mas dumadami ngayon gusto mag-participate kasi talagang yung mga negosyo nila medyo nahihirapan po, so they're getting advice and they have a lot of free time. So the mentors and mentees are able to do it and meet, sa platform ng kapatid Mentor Me online, no? And that's doing extremely well, no? And we're able to, with DTI's help, reach all the areas, every area, kasi access ngayon lang ang issue yung connectivity. Pero may connectivity naman, so they're able to really link. So right now, we're able to do mentorship and very structured with online, no? And mas mura kasi wala lang airfare, wala lang hotel, wala lang pagkain. So mas inclusive ngayon, and we can do more people. We can instead of having just 45, you can increase it to 60, 100, 150 mentees at the same time, no? So you can increase it more. So yun ang kagandahan ngayon nangyayari sa mga mentorship program natin. So digitalization will shift everybody, no? Cashless is the way to go forward, no? Yung kaysa papautang sila sa mga negosyante. Now, once we have more data on paying habits, itong mga online lending will even increase, no? So I think the Philippines, because of what we see today, katulad ngayon, office is being held now at home, no? We're forced to do it because of the level of infection still moving up, no? So yan ang plus factor ngayon, no? Yung shift to digitalization.
Tama-tama yan, Sec Joey. And ito naman po sa mga vision natin sa post-COVID. What is your post-COVID vision for Filipino entrepreneurs? And do you think our MSME will be able to bounce back quickly given the government support funding at saka kayo po yung mga programa ninyo rin? And do you think will be the worst case scenario in case of COVID crisis will not be resolved in 1 year maybe or 2 years? Ano po yung tingin nyo, Sec Joey?
So yung strategy ng private sector is how to coexist with the virus. Sabihin natin wala tayong cure in the next 2 years na lang. Maski may nakikita natin na may mga potential vaccine. Pero sa isang negosyante, mas maganda, iplano natin na 2-3 years wala pa yan vaccine. Now, how do we coexist with the virus? Itong ginagawa, aside from mentorship, I've been pushing for 2 strategies kasi. Yung testing. We need to be more active in testing to create visibility. Kaya nung una, ginamit namin yung mga antibody test kits kasi yan lang ang weapon natin para to create visibility. Siyempre, sinasabi rin nila na hindi gaano ka-accurate. Kasi yung antibody test kits, ang hinahanap niya, yung antibodies. So, ang antibodies, lumalabas lang kung may infection, pag may infection na. So, may delay. Pero ngayon, may mga mas modern and innovative testing procedures. So, itong antigen sinasabi nila at ginagawa ngayon is more accurate in finding the infection. Para yan, like a PCR, but not as accurate as a PCR. So, we're pushing PCR testing, antibody testing, antigen testing, pati itong saliva testing na galing sa Israel and galing sa Amerika. Next week, we have a meeting to try to bring in the distributor here in the Philippines. No? Nandito na sila. So, testing creates visibility. So, yung pribadong sector are spending for all of this to make sure that the employees who are working in our factories feel safe. No? At we try to test every 14 days. So, the more we test, the greater it is our chance from moving out the infection and isolating, tracing, treating. And then sa pang strategy is yung localized granular lockdown. Yung approach ngayon, dapat hindi natin i-lockdown yung talagang isang malaking area. I-lockdown natin kung saan ang infection. So localized approach na. So kung dalawa lang ang strategy na ipupursige, aside from the usual face mask, face shield, and social distancing and washing of hands, these other key strategies is what we're really very active right now in supporting, and that's why we're very visible in all of this, promoting the testing and encouraging the private sector and the LGUs. No? And with katulad rin dito, itong pooled PCR testing, we are already launching that. No? So I think the private sector is doing its part because we want to open the economy, but of course, we want to open it safely, no? Not recklessly. So as we open the economy, we have to create visibility so we can tell our employees, oh, ito, empleyado number 1, may sakit, i-isolate muna natin to. So tuloy-tuloy ang production. If we keep doing that, then we'll be able to coexist with the virus.
Thank you, Sec Joy. Marami kaming natutunan sa mga binigay nyo sa amin, ng mga vision nyo. And siguro, last word po sa mga aspiring entrepreneurs natin. Alam ko po may mga iba pa kayong event for today. Baka may mga ano pa kayo diyan, inspirational message kayo sa mga Filipino entrepreneurs natin at saka yung mga would-be entrepreneurs natin, Sec Joey.
So, yung programa ng Go Negosyo, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yan. We have 3 shows every day, 5 times a week. And we're raffling 1 million pesos a month. So it's about 50,000 pesos every day puhunan pang negosyo, no? So for our micro, small and medium enterprises. And what we're trying to do is help in the macro strategy of really solving our, in other words, we have to survive this pandemic. And I believe that the Filipino resilience is there, no? Pero we have to all cooperate, no, to really practice the wearing of face masks face shield and safe distancing and all of that other parameters. And eventually, what's important is mentorship should go on, and that's why together with DTI, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang pag-mentor natin dito sa mga micro and small. May mga entrepreneurs naman dyan are doing well dito sa agriculture. This is the time for agriculture to shine. Ito sa digitalization, maganda rin to. So there are sari-sari stores, okay rin kasi nagbibenta sila ng mga pagkain. So may mga sectors na okay, pero karamihan ng mga sectors, yan ang challenging, and that's why we are encouraging people, don't give up. This eventually will pass, and I'm sure that for as long as you think well, don't be emotional. If your cash flow is negative, just pause, because if you continue to burn money, maubos yung pera niyo, pati yung savings niyo. So pause and try to see if you can shift to another business model that doesn't require too much cash, or just wait it out first, and then hopefully as things get better, and it will get better in time, then go back as an entrepreneur.
Maraming salamat po, Sec Joey, sa oras ninyo. Magbabalik po ang Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya.
Salamat rin, ha, Gani.
Right now, here at the studio, we have with us Ms. Joan Tan of Yearlock Food and Industrial Corporation.
Maraming salamat, Joanne,
Salamat din, Gisek.
pagpunta ninyo rito and welcome to Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. At baka pwede mong ipakilala inyong kumpanya, Miss Joanne.
Basically, nag-produce kami ng cones. We manufacture cones for sa mga dirty ice cream, sorbetero, sa mga ganon before. And then up until now, we're still producing them. And then we migrated, we pivoted. So eventually, there was one time na challenge kami na we're forced to create our ice cream. So basically, cones plus ice cream. And then, ito lang lately, meron namang pandemic. So, ayun na naman, na-challenge na naman kami. So, somehow, we're forced then to pivot na naman from ice creams to beverages na naman. So, beverages and desserts like ice cream and then this one. So, we're somehow, with this pandemic, na-challenge kami para mag-pivot and then somehow we're increasing our lines and lines na kung pwedeng isupply sa mga people. And apart from that, syempre of course, we would want to save jobs, help save jobs for our economy.
Naku po, Sir Gani, na-try niyo na po ba yung milk tea nila? Sobrang sarap po.
Sobrang sarap.
Yes. Anyway, Miss Joanne, I just wanna ask you, meron po ba kayong mga trainings na nadaluhan na before?
Yes, medyo frequent tayo sa PTTC,
Yes, under PTTC.
export classes, tapos management classes, food safety sa PTTC, what else? Mga accountings, marketings. So, medyo suki tayo sa PTTC.
Yes
from
po, and
time to
very
time.
active po kayo
Yes.
regarding trainings.
So, bilang katulad ng tinanong ni Miss Cha, bilang MSME, no?
Yes.
Kasali kayo dito sa sektor ng mga micro, small, medium enterprises. Gaano ba kahalaga bilang MSME yung mga training na binibigay ng gobyerno, particularly yung binibigay na training ng Philippine Trade Training Center sa mga negosyante na katulad ninyo?
Sobrang halaga ng training kasi yung training, doon lahat yung pundasyon kung saan hindi yung paggawa ng products, like kunyari yung food, hindi lang na basta-basta paggawa yan, madali lang gumawa, pero syempre i-take into consideration yung mga safety ng mga taong iinom sa shelves ba, gaano katagal, plus apart from that, pag-aaralan din yung mga kung ano yung gusto ng profile ng mga tao, yung mga target market, tapos which target market ang ipe-penetrate, mga ganon. So those factors na somehow naka-help si PTTC na maturuan tayo, micro, small, and medium enterprise, para ma-shape up kung ano yung gusto nating direction na pagbalik natin sa opisina, anong directions yung gusto natin mapuntahan or which target market ang tap natin, mga ganong bagay.
Ms. Joanne, baka pwede niyo pong i-share sa amin kung meron po ba kayong mga ginawang adjustments para po maka-cope up ngayong isa nangyayaring pandemya ngayon?
Actually, oo. Ang dami. Sobrang dami. Yung prior to pandemic, medyo somehow okay na naman yung benta. And then, nabanggit ko earlier, our products was into ice cream. So, medyo yun yung peak ng summer season. Nung nag-lockdown, medyo summer season yun eh. So, medyo somehow affected tayo. And then, somehow we're forced to pivot. We somehow created like baking products, like kunyari pandesal, ganyan. Since we are into baking for the cones, and then apart from that, yung mga beverages. So basically, pivot ang ginawa natin towards, up until today, we're pivoting our targets to cater sa market na
Yes po.
pwede natin.
Napaka-inspiring po ng story niyo po, lalo na po sa mga nagbabalak mag-business at yung sa mga startup business ngayon. Ano po ba yung mga qualities kaya sa tingin niyo yung dapat na i-develop ng isang Filipino entrepreneur, lalo na po sa yung nangyayaring pandemya na ito?
Siguro, wag mawala ng pag-asa
Yes.
towards the challenge. Kasi lalo ngayon, pandemya, hindi talaga siya madali sa kahit saang aspect. So, nandyan yung sa online, medyo mahirap magbenta sa online. Nandyan yung medyo papagalitan ka ng kliyente sa chat, so mga ganon. Pero those are part of the challenges na kailangan ipagdaanan ng mga isang entrepreneur. So, siguro wag mawala ng pag-asa towards doon. So, and then, continuously learn those process and all. So, yun siguro pwede.
Yes, very
Tama-tama yan dahil nai-inspire ni Miss Joanne yung mga tagapanood natin dito sa Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Alam nyo, si Miss Joanne, nakikita ko to sa mga outbound business matching mission natin sa China at kung saan-saang lugar. So, ngayon, dito sa mga nangyayari, Miss Joanne, nakakapag-export pa ba kayo ng mga produkto ninyo?
Yes, oo. Meron tayong, actually mas lumakas pa yung export natin more than
Mas lumakas?
Mas lumakas.
Paano kayo lumakas?
Yung mga target countries natin,
Like what country?
Australia, Japan, Taiwan, yun yung mga pinag-exporta nating countries. Sila yung mga less affected ng pandemic. So, in fact, mas nag-double up pa nga yung sales nila bago mag-COVID bago mag-lockdown. So, yung clients natin ang nag-worry sa atin na, kaya mo pa bang mag-produce dyan? Lockdown daw kayo Kaya po, syempre kaya namin. So somehow ganon. And then, natutuwa rin naman yung clients kahit na merong lockdown, na nasa-serve natin yung mga orders nila. So, ayun, nakakatuwa rin namang isipin.
Yun dapat ang mindset ng ating mga MSME. Lalo na yan pagka dumaan sa training ng PTTC. So sa ngayon, Miss Joanne, ano yung malaking market ninyo? Kasi alam nyo, napaka-importante yung export sector natin. So ano yung mga country na nakakapag-export pa kayo aside from Australia?
Yun yung tatlong countries so far. Pero somehow, sana we're looking at other countries like kunyari China and then Middle East. Sana hopefully soon. Yun. Pero on the works, yung ground roots, like kunyari Middle East, kailangan, hindi basta-basta makapag-export yan, kailangan i-study yung market. Apart from that, Middle East sila, kailangan halal certified. So, kailangan our products should be halal certified, halal compliant, and then may certificate tayo before natin ma-export para ma-ensure natin yung mga products natin consume pagdating doon sa destination country.
Tama-tama yan dahil nabanggit mo yung Middle East. We have more than 2.3 million overseas Filipino workers na talagang may captured market yung mga Philippine product natin. Baka may gusto kang parting words sa ating mga tagapanood, Miss Joanne?
Siguro, take everything as a challenge. So, like kunyari ngayon may pandemic, take it as a challenge for us to improve further.
So maraming salamat sa iyo, Joanne. Marami kaming natutunan at sana ay samahan niyo po kami muli doon sa mga ibang episode ng Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Magbabalik po ang KKK.
Thank you.
joining us here at the studio, let us welcome Ms. Marijo Reyes Ferrarin.
Welcome po, Miss Marijo, dito sa
afternoon.
Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Cha.
ma'am.
Good afternoon, Yusek. Yeah.
So tell us something about you and your company, Miss Marijo.
Okay, Style Isle, we were invited by PTTC last, I think November, to join the training on Philippine fashion. It was PHX Connect and PHX Fashion. So it was for the fashion industry, and we also shared our knowledge and our expertise and how would you say, sourcing of Philippine indigenous material.
So
which
kasama
are the
po yung
Philippine
suot-suot
weave.
nyo na mga
Yes.
produkto ninyo, Miss
Ito
Marijo.
po shout out ng mga weavers sa Sagada
Okay.
na during the height of the lockdown last March, talagang wala ho silang source of income. So, nag-text sila dun sa anak ko kasi anak ko si Twinkle Ferrarin was dealing with the Cordillera Administrative Region. Weavers. And so these weavers contacted her na walang source of income, walang kabuhayan, ganon. And during that time, face mask was also already a requirement, but apparently the face mask, the medical grade, did not reach our far-flung provinces, both Mindanao and in the north. So what they did was, yun mga na-weave na nila that normally Style Isle, our company, would buy, they decided to do face mask. Yung daughter ko, kasi designer siya, gumawa siya ng mga prototype, and then either by WhatsApp, kasi wala pang logistics noon nung kasagsagan ng lockdown, walang logistics,
Yes.
walang hindi mo pwede mo padala. So, ano ba yun? WhatsApp, Viber, kung ano-ano,
Pero
Facebook.
napakaganda naman talaga ng face mask na gawa ng
Yes,
mga weaver
mga
natin.
weavers.
Very
Yes.
Filipino po
Oo.
siya.
Kasi ang sabi rin nila, ang daing nila, pag bibili ka nung medical grade, 50 pesos, 60 pesos, wala na ngang kita, bibili ka pa. So at least yung ganito, meron silang nakarolyo, yung mga they just finished weaving and then wala naman market, they decided to cut it down. Normally, they will not cut it up, but under the circumstance, they did. And then nung na-open up na yung logistics, pwede na, nagpadala sila sa bahay, I have to remove. Pero may mga corrections. So we said you have to
Wow.
put a slip because dito required 3-ply, ganyan. So, ayun. So what do you call this? The prototype was sent back and forth so many times. But I think now a lot of other weavers, weaving communities, they have their own versions already. From Tacloban to the Itneg to the Yakan, the weavers. So it's their source of income. So supportahan na lang ho natin.
Oo naman po.
Yeah.
Miss Mary Jo, maitanong ko lang din po, ano-ano po yung mga trainings na nandaluhan nyo na, lalo na po under PTTC? Yes.
Okay, the latest nga was the one PHX fashion. That was about fashion. I think it was spearheaded by designers like Amina Aranas, Rahul Laurel, like that. And they brought in buyers from Japan. So we were there. That was a 3-day conference with not really training, but then kami, since I opted for the supplier, PTTC invited me. We did their components. So, like we showed them, okay, these are components that we can do here in the Philippines if you are an exporter or if you're a foreign buyer.
Yes.
So, I said we do what do you call this, components like this, depending on what the requirement is.
So, wini-weave nyo po yan?
These are already
That's by
woven.
weaving.
It's woven by different weaving communities all over the Philippines, and depending on the color or if the fiber that is used, like some of them want abaca, some of them want cotton, some of them want piña. So yun ang that's what we discuss with our buyer, and that's what we develop for them. In PTTC, I'm already 66 years old. Nag-attend ako sa PTTC noon. DTI would come up with like a week training from opening a business to baking to there was one time na in-enroll ko lahat, yung 4 na anak ko, ako, and then our kasambahay. Sabi ko, and this is good. I think that went on for 2 years. And then later on, hindi na ako nakasunod, no? And then sometime 1997 when Korea gave PTTC parang computers, desktop, I took a course in PTTC, which was, my kids would laugh at it. It was a 95 peso course on doing PowerPoint.
So kasama ito sa lahat ng mga training itong
Yes!
pinag-usapan natin.
Oo.
Bilang MSME, gaano kahalaga yung training na pinagdaanan nyo para makatulong sa inyong negosyo?
It's very helpful kasi lalo na ngayon, it's already a digital world. To survive this pandemic, we don't look at a good outcome. We always say, gera. So we're prepared for the worst, and we don't count on mana. We don't count on mga dividendo anymore. Not yet, because this is really not the right time. So kanya-kanyang kayod, and that's what I told my kids. So sabi ko, kayo, magaling kayo sa cellphone kasi mga millennials sila. They're digital natives. Me, sabi ko, we're digital, we're migrants at our age. I don't understand. So, I would hope that PTTC can give more online course on maybe even maybe for the baby boomers, the seniors. I felt so hurt when they were going to reopen after the ECQ. And they said, 60 years old, you're not allowed to go out. Aray, bakit naman? Why put us in the limbo? I mean, you know, we're business operators, we own businesses and all that. And then kami hindi pwede lumabas. I never felt so useless in my life. So I just had to go digital. Hinabol ko mga anak ko, tuwing nakikita ko, huy, paano na nga ito? TikTok. And then, they helped set me up. IG is my favorite.
Yeah.
So,
Miss Mary Jo, lalo na po yung ngayon nangyayari, no, yung COVID-19 crisis natin. Lahat po ng mga businesses, gumagawa po na adjustments. Kayo po ba, ano po ba yung mga adjustments na naigawa nyo na po?
Oh, definitely. Kami tuloy-tuloy ang marketing. We pivoted from doing weaves to PPEs because during the lockdown, since my daughter is a designer, the office of VP Lenny called designers to help in whatever capacity they could. And apparently, since walang nagma-manufacture pa dito noon, there was a problem of doing a pattern. So we had to well, my daughter, she's a designer, no? So she would go to her friends in Makati Med and then do. And then iba-iba. Yung zipper dapat sa likod, kasi dapat dito talaga secured, ganyan. So we underwent that with working with non-weave material, with impenetrable materials. And then we graduated to this. And then, but now we want to go back and try to do a new normal. Okay. Sabi nila, naku, wala nang nagbibihis ngayon kasi work at home na lang. Teka, wag naman. Paano naman yung mga weaves natin? Hindi naman pwede ibaul na lang yan. So now, we're part of Zoom and we take courses with Zoom, with Globe and all that, teaching us how to go digital. And then they say, dapat nakabihis na. may hikaw. May hikaw. So dapat, So we say that, and then there's this campaign now, they call it the Philippine Fashion Friday. Now every Friday, let's try to wear our Philippine-made product. Because maski ganito na lang yung atin frame, kasi nagzo-zoom tayo at saka Google Meet, dabale, marami kang malalagay dyan, no? Hairband, pwedeng earring, pwedeng ito, and then choker. So, yun, pero everything digital, Yusek, kasi we're not allowed to go out.
Tama
and then, naka-social distance tayo.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Mary Jo. Kulang na kulang yung ating oras dito sa talakayan natin at sana po ay masamahan niyo muli kami dito sa
Yes,
programa natin na
definitely.
Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya.
Yeah.
Magbabalik po kami.
Okay.
That's it for our show today. We'd like to thank our guests via Zoom and here in the studio. Before I turn you over for Yusek Gani's closing remarks, have a great day, everyone. I am Charina Suzara.
Learning can take you to success. Learning can start now. Wherever you are, you can still rise above because learning never stops. Maraming salamat kay DED Nelly, Secretary Joy Concepcion, at sa ating mga entrepreneurs sa pakikipag-ugnayan ninyo sa amin dito sa episode na Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Marami po kaming natutunan sa inyo, lalo ng ating mga tagapanood. Salamat po sa inyong oras para sa talakayan natin. Sana po ay makasama namin kayo muli sa ating mga susunod pang episode. Sa aming mga ginigiliw na mga manonood, sana ay nakatulong po ang pinag-usapan natin tungkol sa Go Negosyo. Kung may na-miss kayong episode na Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya, maaari po ninyong mapanood through our Facebook page. Just visit Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya on Facebook and on YouTube. Abdulgani Macatoman. Please like, share, and subscribe. Magsama-sama po tayo muli next week on Kabuhayang Kayang Kaya. Laging tatandaan, anumang sakuna, anumang problema, kayang-kaya natin to. Ako po, si Undersecretary Gani Macatoman mula sa Department of Trade and Industry. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.